It's as popular to hate Helldivers 2 as it was to defend it when the game first launched, and the goal is to show you the folks that currently hate the game are probably the same ones that defended it, and in both cases, they're very uninformed. You can see that by the things they're saying, the buzzwords and phrases that don't really have any meaning or benefit, but they're thrown out or thrown around by the majority of people. It's basically just copy and pasted in a lot of cases. So going back in time, 5 months ago, we had the first update that nerfed the railgun, shield backpack, and breaker. We had folks that pretty much had the same sentiment of, that's a good thing. Nerfs are great. They're getting rid of meta. Meta is bad for the game. I'm glad they're getting rid of meta, as if you can do that. Meta doesn't go away, it just changes. And they also said that it's a great thing they're nerfing weapons because now folks have a harder time doing solo because you shouldn't be able to solo a Helldive. Folks have to play as a team now. They were happy that things got nerfed because it would encourage team play. Also using justifications such as, well, we shouldn't have weapons that can do X thing because the devs don't want them to. For instance, primaries. Primaries shouldn't really be good at killing medium or small enemies. They should just be a weapon that you can use. That's the point. Players don't like the actual fun of eliminating hard enemies and want to one-shot every monster. In reference to the railgun, which could only do that because of a bug, and when it got nerfed, it could still do that because the bug didn't get fixed quickly. It lasted for a long time after the update, which I talked about, other folks talked about, and it just didn't get fixed. Play as a fire team, not for idiots. Each person brings weapons to handle different threats. I feel that people don't actually like that. The vast majority of players don't want to do that, except this has been parroted for a while, for months, except now, those people that parroted this nonsense, the defense claims, are shifting to just, the game's terrible, it's going to die, or the game is dead, never gonna get fixed. The hate crowd. But moving on, dude, you're taking the whole edgy sweat who hates the devs persona aesthetic way too far. Listen up, the devs don't owe you anything. I can tell you made this video before you played the game post-patch. Meanwhile, in this video, I showcased freaking gameplay of the patch and talked about the issues in the update, the secret changes, how the nerfs don't make any sense, how they're coming from the wrong place. This is before the update, the headshot damage you took. This is after the update. And headshot damage does not care about armor because our helmets are all the same. I understand the game is maybe a month old, but these changes are not it. Sick of the constant whining. Arrowhead isn't AAA studio, it only has 100 employees, which I would say is a lot of people, if we're being honest. Maybe it's not AAA, but that's a lot of people. Yet still, they're managing to push out regular patches and content. Y'all just complain about anything. The game feels good outside of the remaining little bugs. If you can't handle getting jumped by hunters, go play lower difficulties. I was talking about how hunters got changed to headshot you for more damage, or you got headshot harder because they changed armor for your helmets. And hunters are now more accurate. There was a time back then when they wouldn't jump on you from Narnia and be able to aimbot you or change trajectory perfectly midair and just hit you with air tracking. That was new in this update, and I called it out. And I said, this is the best game I've ever played. I'm having a blast. CEO's base, blah, blah, blah. And then the update happens, and I log in, excited to play, and I freaking raged. Because I'm getting headshot a lot more often. I have hunters jumping from Narnia, and they're more accurate now thanks to the AI intensity increase. What the? But I was the bad player. I couldn't adapt, couldn't get good, and I was just mad that I couldn't solo Helldive, even though I never said I couldn't do that. And folks, they bring it up like every video almost. Your ego is hurt because you can't casually main Helldive difficulty, and the devs have said this game isn't meant to make that easy. See, you have folks using what the devs said as if what the devs say can't change on a dime, which it can. In all kinds of different games I've played, it can and has, because the devs realize that they don't know everything. Just like how the devs are saying they want to focus on fun instead of trying to make everything balanced, or as balanced as they currently are. He should play another game. He has a Diablo 4 player mentality. That's another talking point. Folks always bring up a random game that most of the time I don't even play. He should go back to Call of Duty. I don't play Call of Duty. I stopped playing that back in 2015. I was nuts at it though, on console, tell you what. And I don't play Diablo 4. I think that game is not for me, for lack of a better term. Now on the flip side, we have folks saying, glad to see someone making honest-to-God content and no sugarcoating. At this time, there were very few folks that were doing what I was doing. There was a ton of content creators that, at the time, were defending the game. And now, a lot of those same content creators are the ones that are attacking it in ways that just make no sense. They're trying to stir controversy in the most strange ways. I'm stirring controversy on accident. I showed a 2-month-old clip or video of Piles talking about the game and his view, and I said, I hope this changes. And folks took that and said, oh God, I'm uninstalling the game if this is how you views the game, even though we have reason to believe they'll change their ways. Then we have 2 months ago. The game feels fine to me, but well done squeezing 14 minutes out of nothing. Guess what update or video this was for? It's the one that gave us Charger Behemoths that now take longer to kill than Chargers, which we always had Charger Behemoths, but they died in mostly the same ways as Chargers. Now, they're tankier. Hey, good job squeezing nothing out of 14 minutes, even though Charger Behemoths have flipped balance on its head in this game. They made time to kill atrocious for so many different weapons. So we're not giving folks a reason to use different stuff versus the bugs. All we're doing is making Charger Behemoths tankier, and that doesn't encourage or incentivize people to try different stuff and experience variety and have fun. Making monsters bullet sponges isn't fun at all. And also, it doesn't encourage team play either, because you don't need a team, bro. You don't. And no, dude, if you're relying on your teammates to hit shots in the current state of the game, it's not ideal. Mission design should encourage team play. And just keep the game a horde shooter for now. Just keep that archetype. It's fun. What's not fun is when the enemies can aimbot you, basically every single one of them, so no one's missing and there's a horde of enemies, and you're a fragile dandelion. The last one of the season. But yeah, you got me. You got me, man. I like to yap and say nothing. It's my favorite pastime. Some creators get a very picky mentality when Helldivers 2 is a topic. Yes, there are problems, but they are working on everything with an insane speed and doing a great job overall. Not to be that guy, but I disagree. Helldivers 2 had an amazing content cadence, new weapons being released, support, primary, war bonds, you name it, but they were held back by their own balance philosophies. Best patch since launch. If these people had their way, we'd be playing a boringly easy game built for solo players to hit time trials on. What is with people thinking that buff equals easy? If we have a whole team using autocannons and AMR, that's already easy against the automatons, for instance, which most folks don't play against them because they get smoked and rolled. I get it. It's kind of boring getting aimbotted. But what's the difference between buffing up the laser cannon a little bit, not to be more powerful than the autocannon, but to be better, or railgun, HMG, to be better, not to be the greatest, not to be stronger than the autocannon, but to be better than it currently is? How does that change anything? Because folks can still just rock weapons that are better than it will be, and then make it boringly easy, in your words. Why not make it so weapons can just do things? Do more things. Because, newsflash folks, no one really wants the idea or the enforcement of having to spec into certain niches, as they say. I think they'd be the most boring thing imaginable, especially when we don't have role queue. There is no, I'm queuing up for a mission, I want to be the chaff clearer, the heavy killer, the elite killer. That doesn't exist. We don't have that kind of thing in this game. And you're playing with randoms. Most people are. It seems that the folks that have a set friend group that play this game are just viewing it as if everyone does that. Bro, even if you have friends that play, they're not always on. It's just so silly. And now we have today. Yesterday, I guess. Why even bother covering this? And by this, they mean the Piles conversation, Q&A about what could happen, what could change in the game, which I thought was pretty cool. Weapon customization, armor color schemes, mech customizations, mech reload systems in the game. Bunch of cool stuff. Bunch of awesome ideas. I love talking about that kind of stuff in games that I enjoy playing. And we have Negative Nancy here saying, why even cover this? What are you doing? We all know this will lead to nothing. And I really hate this idea that it's popular to hate on the game. You just said that everything that Q&A had will lead to nothing, as if they will do nothing in the Q&A. When they're probably already working on a decent bit of it, because Powell's is saying, we're already working on this, we're already working on that. But yeah, you're right. It's not popular to hate the game. They're ruining a game that we enjoy, ignoring our feedback, and sometimes even directly insulting us. The insulting part, I can't defend it at all. That stuff was just goofy. They just said some nonsense. But in terms of feedback, they took y'all's feedback. Obviously not everyone. Some people gave feedback that made sense. Other folks, they didn't. A lot of folks didn't. We had articles written on how meta was ruining the game. by journalists and whatnot, and folks ride behind it. In the TikTok comments, everyone's saying, "Nah, don't abuse the meta, bro. You're just a meta abuser. You're the person that probably kicks folks for not bringing meta to your lobby." That blew up. The idea that so many folks got kicked for not using meta. Very few folks ever got kicked for not using meta. There were so many things that would kick you. The game would crash, you get kicked. Folks, you join a lobby and people want to invite their friends instead, you get kicked. Some folks just kick you for no reason. Or, this could be a crazy thing, you probably played horribly. I got kicked one time for that. Arc Thor against Battle Titans for funsies. Did not work out. Got kicked. Took me like 30 shots to kill a single Battle Titan. I got smoked a lot. I was also new to the game. But people assume that they got kicked. It couldn't be their fault at all. No. It was their loadout. And it was the freaking party leader being a freaking sweat lord, guys. I have zero faith that they will fix the game. They have been asking for us to let them cook for months now. It's basically been like, I think 2 months. Essentially, that's whenever things like really started to pick up in terms of them talking about wanting to change things. So months is technically correct, but I think you're trying to imply it's for far more than 2 months. Like other folks saying 5 months. They've been saying they'll fix the game for 5 months now. It's been like 2, which is a long time, but hey man, they've been on vacation for 4 weeks now. The vacation lasted forever. That we can't ignore the vacation aspect of all this. Sweden, the enforced, I guess, Swedish vacation was 4 weeks or something like that. Good for them, though. I have no plans to play this over Space Marines 2 or Black Myth Wukong, and based on player numbers, I think a lot of former divers feel the same way. Very, very awesome groupthink right there, man. I'm glad that you had to ride behind the homies to make your decision. And this is a case of, these games exist, so why would I play this one? As if more than one game can exist at the same time. As if Helldivers 2 doesn't have a chance to improve. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to, but it has a chance to. And if it does, this person will be right back playing the game. So this comment just doesn't make any sense. If you don't enjoy the game, don't play it at this moment. Not in the sense of, if you don't like it, go play something else. No, if you're not having a good time, I recommend trying a different game. I took a month off Helldivers 2 to play other stuff. Came back, had a decent time playing it. I'm currently bored again because not much has changed and it doesn't feel very good. So I'm not really playing it right now. But I'm not going and being a doomer and a negative Nancy in the chats. If I don't have anything constructive to say, I'm not really saying a whole lot at all. Let's just give up on this broken game and play the real Helldivers. Space Marine 2 is out soon. Looks like a good replacement. And they say, hopefully the devs just rework the game on a new update-able engine is clearly the root of all problems. Nah, the root of most problems is their inability to realize what players actually want. And instead, they're just being told what players want by the folks that don't know what they want. That's basically a convoluted way of saying that people that have no idea what they're talking about are the ones steering the ship by giving the devs false ideas, or the wrong ideas, essentially, which are the defenders. They're the ones, the glizzy gladiators, as we call them. Talk is cheap. Until the game is patched to revert the nerfs and the awful changes, nothing else matters. It's one of those things where you wrote that, but does it need to be written? If nothing changes, the game doesn't improve, I'm going to walk away. It's simple. Like, people ask me, what would it take for you to quit Helldivers 2? If they nerf autocannon, I'm probably going to quit the game. Because that would show me that they legit don't know what they're doing. I need to see some good faith to have more hope happen. Right now, there's a decent bit of hope, nothing too crazy. If they show me positive change, hope rises. If they show me negative change, hope decreases. At a certain point, hope runs out. I'm not full-fledged believing that they will 1000% fix all the problems, or even most of the problems. But I'm hoping they do, because if I don't hope they do, then what am I doing? Praying for their downfall? I just don't, like, that's what I don't get from all this hate that people are currently trying to spread. It's not just disliking the game either. Hate, in this sense, is just nonsense. The game will never improve. The game will never fix anything. That's just being hateful. Versus, this game is in a good state. I'm not having a fun time playing it. Understandable. Maybe they could do this. Okay, cool. Critique, feedback. I love that. That's what I'm trying to get at here. People still believe Piles LMFAO. It's like, another thing too. People are trying to essentially make fun of Piles in many ways, saying various things. But people in other games would love to have folks talk to them as this game does. And there's other games that have made far more egregious, far more ridiculous mistakes than this game has made, shockingly enough. I play a bunch of games, I've been there. And they're still not very communicative. And these other games will always say, we want to talk more to our audience, talk more to our audience. That's the one thing that Helldivers 2 has done a great job of for the most part, is talking to their audience, albeit sometimes throwing out some insults here and there. And at the end of the day, people are people. What do you expect? Perfection? If you do, hey, AI's on the horizon. Have fun with that. It'll be a blast. Having no real people talking. After what Powell said on Discord, we have cool things to show you, but we can't because of stability issues and controversies. I'm not launching the game again. What? Piles was talking in a video recently, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, but in a video he said, we have the cape, we're not going to release the cape until Sony gives us a better idea of what their plans are for the 180 countries or so that can't get the game right now, which is a good move on his part. He wants to not release the PSN cape or Sony cape until there's a better idea of what the path forward is. So, like, if that's what keeps you to not launch the game, like, by all means, go crazy. But that's just you robbing yourself of your own enjoyment, I think, in the future. And it's gotten to the point that the folks that are negative Nancy's are now viewing me as someone who's got copium, as someone who's almost sponsored by the devs to say nice things, even though I'm not really saying nice things. I'm just saying, I hope this works out. At no point I'm just saying, guys, the game... Okay, wait. I made some videos saying the game is saved, but that was actually a while back. Recently, I'm not really making those necessarily. I'm just saying I hope this changes. I really hope that the good things happen. Anywho, damn, they weren't kidding. Helldiver YouTubers act like Arrowhead has a gun to your dog's head. This is beyond toxic. He said that about me. If you guys don't know who I am, hi, I'm Doe. Game is fixed /S. Freedom has escalated. Actually, I changed that to skill issue escalated because I got in trouble last time. Realism nerfs are good. Homer with a small brain. I hope this changes. Recent video. Nerfs never made sense. I've been saying that since the game's first patch. I've been consistent. We're focusing on fun. Big brain move. What really changed? These videos always, they get folks to call me a great player and believe that I'm just the deity. No, I talk about things that are either hidden changes or things that changed in ways that folks don't really account for, that I took the time to sort of experiment with and realize, like, dang, this does not lead to a better experience. And people deny it, as usual. Why was Helldivers hell dying? At first I said, why is, which I could probably change it back to that and it'd be true still, because at the moment things are not looking the greatest, but we'll see what happens. Worst warbond so far. It's a lie now, because now we have the newest warbond, which gave us flamethrowers and whatnot, and the only good thing was the drip. The Lamborghini orange skins for Patriot suit and whatnot. It's so insanely good. When the E-Man exosuit released, I said, this thing is hot garbage. I was right. It is. And folks realized after, I think, data mining that it does really awful durable damage with the autocannon arms. Hey, guess who didn't need to data mine to know that? The guy who plays a video game. That's crazy. Who'd have known? Nerfs are killing Helldivers 2. At first I called it devs are killing Helldivers 2. Bit aggressive, changed it to nerfs. Spear is a weapon. I made a bunch of videos like this. I made a bunch of videos playing weapons, and I just get so frustrated because I would always die to things, not always, but die to things that were out of my control, and it just felt awful. Or the guns just didn't perform well, like HMG. That was a really annoying time. What really changed? Another one. This is when the shield breaker, or shield backpack, breaker, railgun nerf, and the hunter changes as well. Number one team killer. Because the airbrush rocket launcher exploded on your teammates. Samples. Hair follicles. Everything. It was a horrible launch. Use more stratagems. These are thumbnails for videos I've made. I'm being paid, essentially. Arrowhead, they've got me puppy held hostage. PS5 is breaking balance. I made this before they nerfed the... I think it was either the day they nerfed it or the day before they nerfed it, something like that. Before they had that patch that nerfed railgun that still didn't fix the issue, because the issue was the PS5 bug or the connection issue bug. I hate to say this, but Doe, you're in some serious copium right now. The fact that you can say that Piles knows what he's doing. I said he knows what he's talking about in the responses to people in the Q&A. That's all I really said, I believe. Despite watching him basically say that you're all wrong and this is why you're wrong. We want you to get one shot because it's fun for more than 45 minutes. See, this is me trying not to do the bad thing and trying not to stoke the fire, but I did. That video stoked the fire. And that's why I've actually been holding back on certain content. I haven't made a what really changed video, even though I could, because there's things that changed, or if they feel like they changed, that I won't talk about because it will only fuel the fire of hate more, and I don't want to do that. I only like doing that whenever it's not popular to hate the game. Right now, it's too popular. So, be a hipster and not do that. You say it's popular to hate the game right now, but you forgot that it was you who pointed out so many flaws. That's not hating the game. That's just being logical. Like, people woke up and started and stated that you are right. Not that many people. I feel like I haven't got my flowers from like the people I should have gotten them from, which is a lot of people. Because the hate I got myself was ridiculous. I was demonized, burned at the stake for what? Being right. Happens in a lot of games I play. You'd be shocked. Overwatch, Apex, Dauntless. We never hated the game, but now we hate the devs. Why? Because they broke our trust repeatedly, despite the community giving them a chance over and over. And this is another point that I probably should have made a bit more clear earlier, but I talked about a little bit, because the same people that defended the game are now the ones that currently hate it. And they're also the ones that have caused this issue, because they defended the game so hard, the devs thought they could do no wrong, because the players told them they couldn't. Ridiculous stuff, I'm telling you, man. It's to the point that it sucks to be decent at games and also have too much time. I have way too much time on my hands, so I can spend the time to sort of understand these systems, get acquainted with it, and I see things just unraveling before my very eyes, and I see it happening over time. Sucks to be me, because now I talk about it, and when I mention that things are broken, people call me crazy. And then when other folks realize what I mentioned is broken, a couple people are like, yeah, that Doe guy may have had a point. But to make my stance on Helldivers pretty clear, I hope things change for the better. And if they don't, I will move on. It's just how it goes. Nothing personal. It's all games. I have made content for games far before I made content for Helldivers 2. It did pretty well. I can do it again. And Helldivers 2 is a good game. It's still a game I recommend to folks if they haven't played it, oddly enough, because if you're new to it, it'd be a great time. But for the folks that have been playing it, there's some emotional attachment and there's some just mistrust right now, which is completely fair and valid. And if you don't enjoy playing Helldivers 2, do not play it. Same thing goes for any game. But I do encourage folks to think more logically about things and to really be careful with what you wish for, because sometimes you may just get it and it might not be what you thought to be cracked out to be the entire time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Peace.